Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Road to Grandmaster series. This is my round 4 recap of my second tournament back to competitive chess. It's currently July 12th, 2024. Whenever you are watching this in the future, whether the world still exists or not, to be determined, and whether I'm 26 or 2700 to be determined. I'm currently playing in New York City. I'm playing an IM Norm round robin. I have 2.5 points out of 3, and my first 3 games have been pretty bad. I'm lucky I haven't lost. I'm fighting, but it isn't going particularly great. And round 4, all of that changed. So this was my best game by far. And I played like essentially a perfect game. So I'd like to share it with you. Because I think hearing it from me and seeing it from me gives you a very unique perspective. Also, it's so bright. It's so bright late at night because there's no light from outside. Okay, my opponent in this game is Megan Lee. She's rated 2297, FIDE master. She's also, as you would call, an adult improver, like myself. She used to play chess when she was younger. She must be like 25, 26 now. And she's recently been playing in a lot of IM norms, and she's quite strong. And my preparation for this game is that Megan Lee likes to play the Slav defense. Exclusively, by the way. Now, the thing about playing a Slav player is that they also will play it like this, and then d4, d5, right? Now, I played c4 in this game, and I did that because sometimes Megan plays knight f6 and plays a completely different opening. But against c4 on move 1, she will play c6. She played it in literally the previous game of the tournament, which I didn't cover because she didn't play me. But in that game, her opponent went knight f3 and didn't play d4. So here, she surprised me on move 1. And she played a reverse Sicilian defense. This is the main line of the English opening. It is the only drawback of the English opening, that black can take the center like this. Now, I was surprised, but I was fully aware that if I came to the game and, you know, didn't play d4, there was a chance that she would play this. And I played the move g3. Now, there's a lot of different Englishes. There is the 4 knights English. I've played that before, g3. And now there are 2 ways to play for black. One of them is to play a very quick d5 with the knight here. The other way is pawn to c6, followed by pawn to d5. That is technically, according to modern theory, the best way to play. And then the positions are very, very complicated. But she played knight f6, I played bishop g2, and she played d5. Now we are in a pure reverse Sicilian defense. Now, it's actually technically a reversed dragon Sicilian. As I develop my pieces like this, I castle, and then I play this move d3. Imagine the game had gone e4, c5, knight f3, d6, d4. C-pawn is gone for the d-pawn. And then black plays bishop g7 and castles and a6. g6, d6, a6. Except technically it's kind of like this. This is the position. Now, the game that we got looks exactly the same, except I am playing black, but I get to go first. So, I don't know a huge amount yet about the reverse Sicilian dragon, like this type of English main line. It has been played, and it is at the forefront of cutting-edge, top-level opening theory all over the world. But I haven't had that much experience yet, so I actually was excited to test things out. So I played this move a3. There are many setups here. b3 is a setup, bishop to e3, trying to play a quick d4 is a setup. I played a3 because it's a flexible move. You try to go b4, and already black has a question of, should I play a5 to stop b4? No, it's not a very good move. It's a very committal decision. Now here, what I remembered from my memory is black has 2 setups. The aggressive one with f5, and the less aggressive one, which is what she played, rook e8. Now, you'll notice Megan is playing very fast. So, obviously, she might have not prepared this for the game, but she probably prepared this just for the tournament as a backup plan, or it's something that she's going to be learning. So she chooses the setup here. Another setup is bishop e6. Excuse me. And then black can even sometimes play for f5. Not right away. You have to make some preparations, but this is another way to play. She played rook e8, and I played b4 because she did not stop me from playing b4. And she played bishop f8. Now, At this point, all I remembered, literally, all I remembered from my file and my notes on this opening is that when black plays this setup, you can play bishop to g5. Now, you will see I spent 10 minutes here. I spent 10 minutes here because against bishop g5, black can block, which is what I want. I want to induce that and, you know, have some light squared weaknesses before I put my bishop where I actually wanted to put it. What I couldn't remember and why I took 10 minutes is what happens if queen d7? Queen d7 is a very weird move. Yes, you get out of the way, but what about your bishop? Now you have to move your queen again. It's not a bad move. It's not the best move. The best move is what she played and pretty quickly. But I was hesitating because I was like, well, even queen d6 is fine. But I was like, what do I do against queen d7? So I was trying to be like, maybe I should just put the bishop here. That's also very natural. But I was like, but why? She's going to play f6, bishop e6, and then my bishop is going to be, you know, bad on this diagonal. So, okay, I played bishop g5. And here, again, I thought for a little bit because both of these moves are good. Now, here's something funny. I played the move that Stockfish slightly prefers, at least my Stockfish, I haven't let it run that deep, slightly prefers it over the move that Magnus Carlsen played. Magnus Carlsen played in 2022 against Eric Hansen in an online rapid game. And both moves are fine. Now, I played bishop d2 for two reasons. Number one, I did not want my bishop to block my structure. And I wanted to maybe go knight e1. So if she played knight e4, I kind of wanted to preserve knight e1 followed by pawn to e3. And also, I wanted to defend a5 for when she plays it, which she did pretty quickly. She spent about 6 minutes. And I thought for a little while here, what black's plan is in this position, black's plan is generally put the knight on d4, and then put the pawn on c6. Because what this does is it blocks my bishop. So that much I knew. So when she played a5, I was thinking, is this really what she wants? I'm going to go b5, she's going to go knight d4, but the entire position is predicated upon black playing c6, which she can't do now because I'm going to take, opening the b file, splitting her pawns, leaving her with a weakness. So here I spent a long time, and I actually watched Hikaru's recap because he's been recapping a lot of the games, and I do enjoy watching, you know, in case he says something insightful. And there's a lot of comments that are like, this is basically like a free lesson for Gotham. Yes and no, because sometimes he just sort of skips a moment where I'm like, wait a minute, but I have so much to say about this moment, which is also what's very interesting when he covers his own games. He gets, you know, when he plays at the candidates, for example, I can only tell you what happened. I can't tell you what goes through his head. And right here, I came up with the top line of the engine. Now, the way you play the way you play chess at the master level is you play your opening preparation, which for me ended around here, vaguely. And then you need to justify your moves. Like my game against Logan Brain from 2 rounds ago. If you are just watching for the first time, go check out that game. It's all in the playlist. So I have to justify what I'm doing, and here I came up with the best plan. My original intention had been to get out of the way and then play e3 and kick the knight out, but I rejected this because Megan secures control over b3, and I really didn't like that. My second idea was to play a4, preventing that, but I didn't like that because Megan just goes here and again gets to b3, or at the very least gets to b4, so I rejected this. And I found the best plan, which is taking this knight. I spent 12 minutes, and now I came up with one of the best moves and plans I have ever played, probably in like my life. I'm not even joking. This was so high level, and it's what I calculated here from a distance was supported by the engine, and that makes me very, very happy. Knight to a4. The point is basically, I would like to make some trades because all of Megan's pieces are on the back rank, and the pressure from my bishop is very difficult to deal with. She cannot play rook b8. She cannot play b6. It's a very tough position. Rook c1 is coming. Now, this does lose me the pawn. And during the game, I had to kind of convince myself, like, this is the best way to play. I'm investing a pawn, but she now has to move backwards. Now, first I thought I was just winning immediately if she takes my pawn. She didn't take my pawn. She got a little bit scared of it. I thought I win right away with rook e1. This doesn't win right away. I thought it did, because I thought I had queen c4, king h8, queen f7, threatening rook to e8, and bishop d5 with mate. But that doesn't work because she gets to cover that. However, I had another plan here, which is to play bishop to f4. And bishop f4 threatens the pawn on c7, and she can't easily protect it. The top line of the engine now is this move g5. And I was like, okay, what if I just go here, kick out her rook, and just go here? And I saw this position. So all the way back here, when I had to make the decision whether or not to trade, I calculated knight takes d4, e takes, knight a4, knight takes, queen takes, rook here, bishop here. She gets another pawn out, weakening her king. I kick the rook out, and I secure, and by the way, bishop g4, I always have h3 and stuff. So I can't believe I calculated a line where I literally lose a pawn with nothing obvious in return. And I sit there and I go, she has no moves and she's got a lot of weaknesses and I'm better. And this didn't happen in the game, but the fact that I saw this, old Gotham would have never, ever seen this. And I remember sitting there going, I think this is a really good position. Now, unfortunately, she did not let me do this. She played knight to d5, which I immediately realized was an inaccuracy, but I didn't find the best way to punish it. So I had quickly thought knight d5 doesn't work because I play queen here, and I'm simply winning the pawn on d4. She cannot defend it. Because c5 en passant, if the knight goes back to e7, I get in here and I'm completely winning. So I actually just thought I'm winning the pawn, and you'll notice she spent a lot of time. So I'm down 30 minutes here. And I remember I was watching Hikaru commentate the game, and he was like, Levy's played fast up to this point. And I was like, what? I'm down 30 minutes. Like, what? No, I was not playing fast. I was figuring all this out. It was not my preparation. Knight to d5, queen b3, bishop e6, and queen b2. The engine prefers queen c2, trying to put the queen on c4, and then if bishop e6, I just get the knight to c5 very quickly. So I should have went here. Now rook e2 is not good because I can do this, and I just get a very powerful. I did it more forcing, so I wasn't totally finesse. You know, it wasn't total finesse. Here she came up with a great idea. She thought for a long time here, 15 minutes. I was very confident, and in the back of my mind, I was prepared to miss a defensive resource because I was feeling very confident. And she went here, and I very quickly just defended my pawn. And she found it. She found the defensive resource. Otherwise, she's just losing the pawn here. She found bishop d6, which I was very unhappy about seeing, which is why it would have been better for me to go queen c2 instead of putting the queen on b2. The point is I can't take because of bishop e5. And I was like, oh, okay. But I just need to stop bishop e5. So I'm going to play f4. And that I spent 13 minutes on this move. Now, the point is, she now no longer can protect this pawn. She's going to lose the pawn. I thought the best thing for her is to go all in. Take advantage of my move f4 and do this. And here I was going to take on b7, and I was calculating insane stuff here. I was calculating, what if she just gives everything up? Like, just gives up the rook and just attacks my king. And you can very easily convince yourself here that, like, somehow you're going to hang checkmate. So you have to be a bit careful. Now, it doesn't ever work. And so she thought for a bit, and she played queen e7. She thought for 20 minutes and played queen e7. And I guess she just decided this also doesn't work. Now, what's crazy is the engine just thinks black is fine here. Knight takes f4? Wow. And this is a pin because my queen is hit. Wow. That's crazy. f4, b6? What? Yeah, that's nuts. And now you can sack. Now you can sacrifice. Crazy. So even here, I was very proud of this game, and yet even here I could have been better. And I should have found queen c2. I wouldn't have had these problems if I hadn't found... but she lost the pawn on d4. And at this point, she played this very tricky move, knight b6. If I take, I actually lose my queen. Now, my original intention was to take this pawn, but that loses, I think, because she has bishop b3, which I'm looking at the engine now is not the best move, but she instead plays rook d8. So I thought queen d4, knight b6, and here I came up with one of the best moves of my entire life. The point is, if I take, she pins my queen to my king. What could be more natural than playing king h1? And just continuing on with the pressure. But I realized two things. Number one, when my queen gets attacked, it needs to be protected for tactical reasons I'm about to show you. Number two, in the endgame, my king should not be far away from the action. The craziest part is, keeping my king here won me this game, which is insane. And so I played e3. The reason why this works is because now if she trades knights with me, I'm just a pawn up. Probably going to be up another one very soon. So she played rook d8, and I took on b6. How about this for a tactic? Had I played king h1 and she played rook here, if I took and she played bishop c5, when she takes my queen, it's not a check, but she's attacking my rook too. However, in the game, if rook d8, knight b6, bishop c5, this is not only not a check, it's protected. So here I can play knight c8. She counterattacks my position. She's down a knight for the moment, but she's attacking my queen and here. And what I had foreseen from a distance, I was deciding whether to play knight d5 or whether to play knight c8. Knight c8 is ridiculous. And the point is, the simple point is, if you want to take my queen, now I take with check and I win back the bishop. That is why I played pawn to e3, to protect my queen in all of the tactical skirmishes. And I saw the move knight c8. I mean, I didn't know if it worked. I actually was a little bit unsure because I thought there was queen f8. I'm completely winning. The point is, some of you may be wondering, what if she just takes your knight? Right. Now I go here. She has two hanging pawns. And if she defends them, I just go here and she has no counterplay. Her bishop is totally boxed in. Her structure is totally locked. And then I just march straight down the middle and I'm totally winning. That was the point. That was why I played e3. It was amazing. Like, I saw all of this. Rook d8, take. She took back because she realized that it doesn't work. And now I took on b6. And here I calculated again. Here we're both about 9-10 minutes. At this point, I decided I have to step on the gas. Like, I'm not going to go below 10 minutes in any of the critical positions. Now, if bishop c5 here, for a very brief moment, my opponent is down 3 pawns, which is a lot. But she's going to win back at least 1 or 2 of my pawns. I'm winning, but I do have to be precise. And what I saw after rook takes d3 was my bishop gets away. So I clear, look at that. I clear her entire queenside. All 3 pawns in that variation perish. And I was like, look, she can check me, but she's got nothing else, right? She saw that, which is why she went this way. I still take, she played the best way, by the way. And now again, I have only 1 move. So I have only 1 move to prove the advantage. Why? Because I'm under a lot of pressure. And if I play something like rook e2, after rook b8 and something like queen c6, I'm actually maybe in trouble. Like, I might lose this game. So I found the best move after queen b7, rook d3. I leave my bishop to die, and I play rook to c1. And I was very happy with this move. Now, here what I realized while sitting there is her best move is actually retreating and going here. And in this position, I'm not sure I would have played the best move, to be honest. I thought about bishop c6, which turns out, no, bishop c6 is a mistake because of rook b8. But I was going to play bishop h3. Wow, bishop d5. That is... yeah, wow, amazing move. So I have to play, I have to get my queen out, basically, which I might have found, but luckily for me, she decided to force things. She took my bishop, and with time ticking, she kind of panicked a little bit. And sometimes what you try to do is you try to make something happen rather than, have the tension. You'll notice the time management. My friends, you go back a few moves, you know, it was 9 to 12. And like I said, I decided to play faster. And I made all of these moves very quickly. I saw rook c1, and all of a sudden she's down to 154, and she does this. And what she's doing here is she's chucking the bishop, and she's going for the endgame. Remember how I told you this move won me the game? Because I never put my king over here? Yeah. Well, she sacrifices the rook. I took with the king. This is the only line that wins. And now the king marches forward. She takes this rook. And the only way to win this position is to go for the rook endgame. And the only winning move in this position is to attack her pawn in order for her to protect it with rook to a8. And now again, the only winning move is to utilize the fact that the rook has gone to march the king to the center of the board, trying to join the b pawn. She has to go king to e4. Again, the only winning move is to continue this journey, because if I can team up with my pawn, I'm walking in. So she does this. Again, the only winning move. Again, the only winning move. e4. Why? Not just that I'm going to advance my pawn, I'm preventing her from playing f5. If she's able to use one pawn to control two of my pawns, her drawing chances, I know the engine is saying, you know, but her drawing chances do go up. So I play e4. She goes for the a-pawn counterplay, another very important move. I stop the pawn in its tracks. If I let the pawn go all the way down, even though it's not going to queen, it's going to take a lot longer for me to get my king to stop it. Now, she goes h5, and I realized here, in the endgame, you need two weaknesses to target on your opponent's side of the board. Or you need two assets to dictate. So I played e5. And the point is, wherever she retreats, something bad will happen. If she goes straight back, saying I'm not committing to either pawn, I just go straight down the middle. And I advance both pawns until the rook leaves. Then I take the pawn, and then I help my pawn queen. She decided to stop my pawn. So now I went king c5. Now, I actually thought here of playing b6, but I realized she can cut me off, and I really didn't like that. So I have to find this, and then I have to, you know, I didn't exactly see how to win here. So I just played king c5, and now, like I said, I'm able to use this pawn as a decoy, and that's it. I told you that was the whole point of the whole king run. If I can get my king and my pawn like this, I am doing what's called shouldering her king, not letting it get close. She's going to have to run with the rook. She does. Even though she can get a bit closer, it doesn't matter, because I'm going to always check and win the pawn. She goes here. I take this moment to take the pawn because my rook will be a shield from the checks. And now another very important move. I give her a check because it forces the king one rank away. This is very important. It's probably winning if I just go here as well, but it's much easier to force the king this way. And now rook c4. And now we are threatening the trade to use that pawn as a decoy. It's also just a winning a king and pawn endgame, but this is also winning because I would win her pawns. Rook c4, rook b2, and my king helped escort my pawn, and here she resigned. The engine said I played this game at nearly 100% accuracy. The only small blemish was this plan queen b3, queen b2, which in my defense during the game, I thought was the best plan. But this, that is a very subtle detail. Not to go queen c4, but simply to say, you still cannot take this pawn because you are losing time, you're trading a very important rook, and then I have a lot of play against your position. I played my preparation in this game. I improvised and actually played almost like Magnus did, and then I completely understood the dynamics of the game and the position, playing to my strengths, made a slight inaccuracy, but managed to capitalize later in the game, was up a pawn, played one of the smartest moves I think I've ever played in my life, and I managed to win a very nice rook endgame. 3.5 out of 4. 3.5 out of 4. This was the best game I played in this tournament. The first 3 rounds sucked, and I'm so happy to play a really good game. I'm mixing it up with my openings, and I'm very happy and very thankful and very grateful for all of you watching, because you should know I play a 3-hour game at 12 o'clock in the day, and then I play another 3 to 4 hour game at night, and then I come home and I hang out with Lucy and Benji, and then I eat some food, and I sit right down here. It's midnight. It is 12 o'clock, and I'm recording because I want to give you guys an update. Yes, it's my job, but I could post in the morning and it would be fine, and I just want to share this with all of you. So 3.5 out of 4 in our second tournament back to competitive chess. We are now over 2360 ELO. And another big game coming up tomorrow in round number 5. So get out of here.